It's about opening your mind to a new way of actually seeing those shapes and not feeling like you have to run to the left side of your brain and say, it's a triangle, it's a square, it's an eyeball. You're actually looking at what that eyeball looks like from the side, or or whatever. Another really good way to do that, Harry, and she might do this with you guys, is to do an upside down drawing. Has she done that with you yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because what is happening when she gives you a picture and you have to turn it upside down and then you draw it, you're just looking and you're drawing it upside down. You're using the right side of your brain much more, because the left side of your brain can't get in the way and say, that's a hand, that's an eye, that's a nose, all it can do. We've sort of confounded the left side of your brain by flipping it upside down, and so the right side of your brain gets to take over and say, oh, I know what that is. It's this kind of a shape, but it doesn't even, there's not even a name for it because it's a funky shape, So you stop talking and you stop letting all that language get in the way, and you start seeing. And that's the secret to art. But it's also, if you can really push that side of your brain, it will help you whenever you're trying to solve other problems. It'll help you figure out a different way to solve a logic problem. It'll help you find, it's like you're building pathways between the sides of your brain, and it'll help you design the next rocket ship. Yes.
Why is it that, do you know why it is that some people just, can't do that? They just don't, think like that?
I think that everybody can think like that. I just don't think that everybody is taught to. Did you know that 100 years ago, everybody learned how to draw? That was part of what you learned how to do. It was before, cameras were readily available, and everybody needed to know how to draw. They needed to be able to communicate, well, the guy that robbed the bank looked like this, or they needed to communicate how to draw a map, or they needed to figure out how to draw a building design. So everybody actually learned how to draw. Believe it or not, drawing is a learned skill. No matter what anybody ever tells you, it is something you can learn. It's unfortunately something that our society tells us is just a magic gift that is dropped on a few people. That's what everybody around us tells us, but it's not true. It's a myth. So if you wanted to learn how to draw, it is something you can do.
And it's
Okay?
the same for math. Everybody
That's
in here, there's
exactly
not
right.
a person in here that cannot learn math and be successful with math.
Absolutely.
And I know because
Absolutely.
I've taught all of you.
That's right. And Miss Williams sometimes might have to try lots of different ways to teach a kid how to do that. Now, the interesting thing about drawing, and I don't know at what age this happens in math, but your brains are still growing. And something happens between about the ages of 8 and 12 or 13 that your brain is able to make that leap between drawing symbolically. Do you know what I mean by drawing symbolically? Like drawing an eye so that it looks like this, right? There's an eye. Okay, is that really what an eye looks like? No, but it's what we have learned that an eye looks like. But your brain can make a leap, and about this age, you start to look at other kids and you go, oh my gosh, Gabby is so good at drawing. She can do anything. I can't do that. And so what happens is you tell yourself you can't do it, and so you never bother to learn. Okay? You never bother to go through the process of learning, but it is something you can learn, just like math. I have 2 kids, Carter and Lacey. You guys know Carter. Carter was all about sports. So from the moment before he could walk, he had a ball in his hand or on his foot. So he had a lot of practice at sports before he became 12 years old. Lacey, my daughter, had a pen in her hand all the time. So she had a lot of practice. So by the time they're both 12, somebody's going to say, oh, you're so talented at soccer. Well, the fact is, he put a lot of effort into that. And somebody's going to look at Lacey and say, you're so talented, you must have gotten your mother's gift, or whatever it is. What she got from me was an interest in art. Okay, something that drove her to practice it. If you were driven to practice math, you would have no problems with math, you know, but sometimes when something's a little hard, we sort of veer away from it. But art and math and lots of other subjects I'm sure we could come up with are just like that. If you run into a problem, don't turn away and say, you know, there's not a math fairy, you know, that comes and delivers math on you. It's something you guys really have to work at. And the same thing is true for art. Do not believe anybody that tells you that art is something that you cannot learn. Okay?
Some of the kids that are in the really advanced math classes, their parents had them working on math on Saturdays from like this big. I mean, that's why they're so good at math and in the advanced class. It's not that they were just born with some gift. It's like she's talking about, they've been trained and indoctrinated that they need to know their math, and their parents have had them working extra at it their whole lives. So.
And there might be something in them that makes it a little bit fun, or like doing a crossword puzzle, or doing a logic puzzle, or a Sudoku was fun for them at an earlier age, so they added more of that, you know, they had more practice at making their brains think that way. And all it is just making some connections in your brain, okay? So if you have an interest in art, I hate that you guys all can't have art every day. I hate that. I'm glad that you get lots of different kinds of art, like music and things like that. But I think this kind of art is really fun and special. Okay?
Cooper, you had a question?
Well, like, you kind of answered it, but I was going to say some things I feel like you have to be born with it, I guess. Like, just, like, someone who learned, you can tell a difference between someone who learned it and someone who's natural at doing it.
Who's natural at doing something?
Could you be able to tell with art? Like, because I know one thing that I can definitely tell if someone learned it, even if they're good when they learned it, I can definitely tell whether they're natural or like they learned it.
Like it comes a little easier to them?
No, I can just tell by the way, like, I can just tell, because it's, like, the one thing I had in mind is dance. I can tell if someone's, like, actually natural at it, or if someone learned it in, like, steps. If you learned it
in your body or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks a lot different if you learned it compared to if it's, like
if it just came from you.
Yeah.
I think that's a learning style thing.
I think it is too. And I think that what you're responding to, Cooper, are things that do exist in our right brain. And some people, I think dance is a perfect example. There are things that somebody feels that they will go ahead and they maybe their body structure or whatever, they can express that through their body better than other people can. And in order to be taught something, you often have to have the words for it. And if you are a really natural dancer, which I happen to know you are because I've seen you dance, I think that some of that nobody can teach you, because those parts that you're talking about are in that right side of your brain that isn't verbal anyway. So I do think that there are things that you're born with that you can then sort of express those gifts a little bit easier. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I do think that, but
then you can hone it with training.
That's right. But training makes a really, really big difference. That doesn't mean somebody can't learn to dance. Maybe they're not going to go on to become a professional dancer unless they, have that in them. I think that's what drives you to practice things more, is that sort of unknowable. It's even hard to talk about because we don't even really have the words for it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. I don't think you're wrong about that. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. I can just tell. I'm like, I guess just people, like, if you can naturally dance, I guess you kind of like do it on your own. I feel like.
Yeah.
But then like I can definitely tell when someone's like taking a class, or if they like actually naturally did it, because I've never like taken a class.
Yeah.
And I can just really tell, like, if I've seen classes, and I can just tell that like it's not natural for them, and it's more of just like they think it's fun, so they do it. But it's like, I can definitely tell that like it doesn't, the way they like move, I guess.
Yeah.
Not like.
It's more rigid.
It looks like step by step kind of thing. It doesn't look like one big thing. I can
Mhm.
definitely tell
My
my kids.
husband and I are like that. You can tell who needs the lessons.
Yeah.
I wanted to share this with you guys because we were talking about it. This is what she's talking about with paintings. This is called the golden ratio, and it's based on ratios. What's a ratio? Raise your hand.
A comparison between two.
You got it. A comparison of two numbers. And the golden ratio is it's like a magical thing. And they take a rectangle and they break it up into squares. And in doing that, this is where you get the thirds that she's talking about. And you'll see that it's used in art all the time. These are examples of where it's used in art. And it's found in nature. Yeah, here's the Parthenon. And there it is. It's found in nature. Can anybody think of anything that has kind of the spiral like this in nature? Raise your hand.
Snails.
Snails, seashells.
I think it's just because maybe the earth, that's how it rotates, kind of.
Oh, interesting. Anybody else?
Interesting.
Pine cones, turtles, all kinds of places you can find this in nature, and then it's also used in art. And since it's found in nature, using it in art is what we feel comfortable with.
Right, exactly.
With it. So, and this is a fascinating subject if you ever want to check it out for golden ratio. If you're interested in reading about it and writing a paragraph for extra effort, you're welcome to. Some other extra effort I wanted to offer you on this topic today is I have a mandala coloring book, and these are patterns that are made with geometry. And if you're interested in doing some of these for extra effort, they'll count towards your extra effort. Now, one's not going to give you a 4 in this class, but if you do some of these to count towards your extra effort, then just let me know if you're interested and I'll make copies. Another thing I have are optical illusions. I always loved optical illusions. So if you'd like for me to make copies of anything, you can come look through these books and tell me what you'd like, and this could be towards extra effort as well in here.
Did you know that optical illusions are the right and the left side of your brain seeing something differently? You know, you look at a picture and then all of a sudden you see something else in it. That's the jump between the right and left side. You can't see it at the same time. You can only see one at a time.
Isn't that cool?
There's another interesting thing called fractal design, which is another really interesting math art topic.
So if you guys want to do anything with these math art topics for extra effort to help get a 4 in here,